Janama महाराज जी, और एक उधर है पीछे, इसको ऊपर कर दो क्या? और क्या चल नहीं रहा क्या दोनों?
उसका मुंह उलट क्यों है? इधर करो,
इस तरह
या आप बैठे इस तरफ। देखिए हाँ नहीं बस है।
small young boy. He is very sick and in a very crucial condition. So we are praying, we all praying for his recovery.
Madhuban.
Yeah, his name Madhuban. In a very serious condition right now. So we all praying to Narsimha Bhagwan. Namaste Narasingaya.
Namaste Narasingaya.
Praladadadaine.
Praladadadaine.
Hiranyakashipu vakshaha.
Hiranyakashipu vakshaha.
प्रहलादेश जय पद्म मुख पद्म भृंग नमस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रहलाद लाददायने हिरण्यकशिपु वक्षः शीलकङ्कानकालय वागीश यस्य वज्ञ लक्ष्मी यस्य वक्षसि यस्यस्ते हृदय संवितं नरसिंहं भजे इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह महे नरसिंह हृदय नरसिंह नरसिंह मादिं शरणं प्रपद्ये ओम नमो भगवते तुभ्यं पुरुषाय आत्मने हरे अद्भुत सिंहाय ब्रह्मणे परमात्मने श्री नरसिंह भगवान की जय। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय सदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनर्पितं चरिंचिरात् कारुण्यवतीन कलौ समर्पयितु मुन्दतदरसां स्वभक्ति श्रियम्। हरिपुर सुंदर दुति कदम्ब संदीपिता सदा हृदय कंद्रेषु स्फुरत वै सची नंदना। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपीकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। भक्त्या विहीनाय अपराधलक्ष्यै क्षिप्तस्य कामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि तं शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। महाबोधे स्थिरे कनकरुचिरनीलशिखरे वसन प्रसदान्त सहज बलभद्रेण बलिना सुभद्रा मध्यस्थ सकल सुर सेवा अवसरदो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे। प्रमद मदन लीला कंदरे कंदरते रचयति नवयुनो नन्दमस्मि नामना। इति केलकरनाथ लग्न कस्य द्योरमे निज निकट निवासम देहि गोवर्धन त्वं। निज निकट निवासम देहि गोवर्धन त्वं। राधा चिंता निवेशिनं यस्य कांति विलोपिता श्रीकृष्ण चरणं वन्दे राधालिंगितं विग्रहम्। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्ण भक्त रूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतार भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्ति शक्तिकम्। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। ऑल टुगेदर हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। वन मोर टाइम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So yesterday we observed festival the honor of Vaishnav Nam Yatha Shambhu, the best amongst all the Vaishnavas, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev, who very intimate and close friends with Krishna. In Navdeep Dham, we have Harihar Mahadev, Harihar Kshetra, where in one deity we see Vishnu and Shiva together. What is the meaning of? The meaning is, just like in Guru Ashtakam we sing, Kintu Prabhuya Priya Evatasya Vande Guru Shri Charanara Vindam. Shiva cannot become Krishna. Then why we see in one deity Shiva and Vishnu together? Because of intimate relationship. As Gurudev considered to be as manifestation of Krishna. Kintu Prabhuya Priyaiva Tasya. Because he is very dear to Krishna and he serves Krishna. Similarly, Shiva also very close and very near and dear to Krishna. All those difficult tasks which can't be accomplished by anyone else, only accomplished by Shiva. Like spreading Mayavad. Krishna chose Shiva for this. You have to go and spread Mayavad. Means what? That I have no form, I am formless. I have no qualities, I am nirguna, nishaktik, no potency. And Shiva say, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. You're so beautiful. I see your beauty. How can I say you are formless and you have no beauty? Then Krishna said, no, only you can do this. No one else can do this. Just to obey the order of Krishna, Shiva, he took this difficult task just to please his Ishta, his worshipable. That is something very powerful. Just to please one's worshipable, going to that extent, preaching Mayavad. So, he has his own bhashya, his own philosophy, which is full of Mayavad. And all our Vaishnavacharyas, they refuted that Mayavad. But when the point came to give commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Shankaracharya said, oh, I cannot touch Bhagavatam. I cannot disprove Bhagavatam. Therefore, we don't have any Mayavad philosophy on Srimad Bhagavatam. He can't resist. And he said in the last, Bhaj Govindam, Govindam Bhajam Moodamate. Oh foolish mind, always worship Govinda, always worship Govinda, always worship Govinda. Okay? One who is always meditating on the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. This is the glorious. And Nandagaon. Nandagaon is a hill. And who is that hill?
Nandi.
Shiva. He holds Krishna on his head to get the dust from the lotus feet of Krishna. And Brahma, he also assumed a form of a hill because he wants the dust from the lotus feet of Radharani. So all these three prominent personalities, the Guna Avtaras, they in the form of hills in Braj. Brahma as Barsana, Shiva as Nandishwar, and Vishnu as what? Govardhan. So we heard from devotionals, from devotees yesterday, and today the occasion for which I came from very far, we're to glorify Gurudev's very dear, intimate associate, Srimati Uma Didi, who has so many glories, and all devotees around the world have so many memories with her. Even the young ones, even the second generation devotees. They have seen her bhajan and served her because she was very merciful and she gave her service to so many devotees. So mostly the female sections, they know the glories of Uma Didi by serving her, assisting her in cooking, massaging and many other services. So we are kind of doing a yajna. I'm doing a yajna, going around and hearing from devotees and speaking, remembering Shri Uma Didi was so senior amongst all the sannyasis. So just to give honor, respect and seeking her blessings, I would like to call upon some devotees who served Uma Didi so much in their life, very closely, sharing their heart with her. And they have so many memories with her. So before I start speak anything, I would like to request first of all Lalita Didi, because she served Uma Didi in Hawaii and in Vrindavan, in so many other places, and very intimately associated. So we like to hear from you. And today we are very fortunate. We are here in Seattle in Mansi Didi Hemant Prabhu house, and devotees from all over, from Oregon, from Portland, from Hawaii, and also from Vancouver. Welcome. Devotees from all over, we are here. And this is a hub and central place for all these cities to hear and glorify Srimati Uma Didi. Hare Krishna.
Jnanatimirandasya gyananjana shalakaya chakshurunamitam jena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayaniti Namane Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhye Vachapatinam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavedhyo Namo Namaha. I offer my hundreds unlimited obeisances unto my Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and to all of my Guru Varga, and Srimati Uma Didi. I'm limitedly merciful to Sri Srimati Maharaj and to all the Vaishnavas and devotees. Even though, anyways, I'm not a speaker. Anyways, Uma Didi, she was so unlimitedly kind to me, and I mean, really, only a Vaishnavas can really glorify Vaishnava, and so I can't really, actually glorify someone so great, but somehow I got so much mercy from her, and I was able to, she was allowed me to be close to her. The way mercy flows is it always flows to the most fallen. Like when it rains on top of a mountain, the rain always, goes down to the lowest place. So somehow, I was so lucky, and after Gurudev Intermittent Leela, she, would come to our house every year, sometimes for a month, quite a few times for a month at a time. And just, she was so completely like Trinada Pisanichina, completely like that, always so humble, never wanted you to go out of your way to do anything special for her. Like if it was covering a chair or anything, like, oh no need. Like she was just so humble, always serving, always reminding you so much to serve Gurudev, reminding you of instructions that Gurudev gave you, and she would always give herself as an example. Like she was very practical, And she would always use herself as an example to make it like so you could understand, even though she was so great, but she would like put her, like speak like she was in this humble position. And she was, one time she was saying like, you know, like a fish has so much love for water, has so much pain for water. If you take it out, then it will die immediately. You know, after a few minutes it will die. But like she was saying, like myself, you know, we're not dying without praying. You know, we're not dying without like that. And then she was saying also, I just was thinking to say a few things that she said. She was saying, what is sadhu sangha? She's like, is it that we come to go to Kartik so many years and we hear from Gurudev so many times and it just goes in 1 year, and then we have 2 years, so it comes in 1 year and goes out the other year. And, you know, is this, we come and then we go and then that's it, we don't remember anything. And she was saying, you know, we shouldn't be like this, and that we have to, you know, learn to be strong. And otherwise there's no progress. We have to try to follow. And then she also said, Mahaprabhu said, if you want to be a devotee, you have to have 4 qualifications. And those are also the verse, Trinadapi Sunichina, everything. He was being lower than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, giving our respects to others and not wanting respect for ourselves. And then we can chant all the time. And she said, those who are really chanting are like this. We must surrender and tolerate and try to become like that also. And she said, in this life, we should try to serve all the time, like always serving. And then we can, you know, then you can begin bhajan. And doing, serving all the time and doing seva, it gives impressions. And when the service mood comes, then it is possible to begin to chant the holy name. And once you can chant the holy name, then your bhajan really begins. You said if not possible in this life, then you know, you should do so much service in the next life. You can also chant the holy pure name and begin your spiritual life. So for myself, like, I felt so much mercy coming from Uma Didi after Gurudev entered Nitya Leela. It was, you know, so sad, and she would come, but it was like we got to have like close, you know, with Gurudev we couldn't like massage him or do some, you know, be so close to him, but with Uma Didi, that was all possible. And so it felt like Gurudev was showing so much love and so much mercy through her, and allowing like us to do so many nice services, and like helping her cook. And she was, I mean, yeah, she would cook amazing, like just non-stop cooking. And even though she was so much, you know, she was elderly, she would, you know, wouldn't stop, and we could hardly keep up with her. And then also, like, we were allowed to massage her, and her, you know, and when Pranay and Chom were little, like, I would massage her at nighttime, but they were too scared to be at home because their father was in India. They were too scared to be home, so that they would like come and like lay. She would like say, "Oh, they can just lay down here, you know, on the floor." Like, so we'd get to massage her. Let's see. Yeah, then, you know, every morning we would go for morning walks to this one place she really liked that Gurudev used to go, Lilio Kalani Gardens, and there's also Coconut Island, so she would always want to go there and chant in the morning, and any kids or anyone that came, we'd all chant together. And and then sometimes she would tell Hari Katha, especially if more other devotees came. She was just always serving, like non-stop serving, and always like just so strong and so like completely doing everything for Gurudev and our Guru Varga. I was fortunate last year to be able to go, after she had her heart attack last year, I was able to go for 1 month to be with her. And at first I got there, and then I heard that maybe I'd have to quarantine. She wasn't back in hospital, and I heard I maybe have to quarantine for a week, and I was really devastated. But then somehow the next morning I just went to offer obeisances at the door. She came back that night, and I went to offer obeisances at the door, and then Rangadi opened the door, and yes, come in, and like started helping. And then we were quarantined to her room for like 2 weeks. We had to stay inside just so that she couldn't get sick. And anyways, even though she was so weak and everything, she was, exhibiting her sickness past time. It just allowed us, for me, for so much service. And she was always like, she was always chanting, always wanting to remember all the time, even if so many things, constantly we would have to do different things to help her. And I mean, physically, but she was always, praying, and she had all of her group around her. And I think her favorite time of day was in the evening when when Madhukar Prabhu and Haridev Prabhu and some devotees would come and sing bhajans for her, and she was so happy. And even though she was really, really weak at that time, but she'd still like somehow managed to like put her arms up in the air and just sing along, and she was so happy like that. There was one day on Srila Trivikram Raj's appearance day, and it was like evening artik, around that time, like during evening artik, and then she was like kind of just chanting quietly, and then suddenly she like sat up in bed, and she was like, someone, Radha and Krishna calling me, and she sat up and she was really, really restless, and we're like, we're trying to, Didi, we're all, just trying to make her feel calm, but she was really anxious, and she felt like she was going to leave then. And so as the hour progressed, and suddenly became more aware that maybe that was happening, so then she wanted all the devotees to come inside, so she said, open the doors, everyone come in, I want Krishna, I want everyone to come in. So everyone came in and were chanting, and everyone's, and she had her picture of Gurudev and Chol Maharaj, and she was talking to them in Bengali, but then she was talking to them. She was looking at their pictures, and then she was talking like, why are you coming? Like, when are you coming? Like, are you coming? I'm waiting. I'm ready. I'm coming. And she was so anxious. And well, chanting. But I think, anyways, maybe it wasn't quite that time yet, because some nurses came and said she didn't seem like it was. She seemed too awake and everything like that. So, anyways, it wasn't. But it was just like the way she was so anxious, so ready to go meet them. And she said, like, I don't want to wake up tomorrow in this world. I don't want to be tomorrow. I don't want to wake up in this world. I don't want to be here. It was just amazing to see how she was completely not attached. All her attachment was only for her Gurudevs. And there was nothing, she wasn't attached at all. She wasn't scared to leave this world, like nothing, completely just detached. But anyways, then later, a few days, and then she was just saying how actually, like, I wanted to go, but maybe it wasn't their desire yet. So, it can't be my own desire, it's their desire. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not a good speaker. I like write things out, but then I forget everything. And then, let's see what else. Anyway, she was just like seeing the seva like Rangadidi did, and all the devotees of Vrindavan, like Madhukar Prabhu and so many devotees, Shampi Hari Prabhu. It's like, I felt like in one way it was like I got her mercy to come there just so I could see what what devotees are really like how they're chanting and serving and so much, and like actually see how people actually serve her, and then realize how I really never did. And it was just amazing. Like Rangadidi, I don't know how she's Didi's like pure Vaishnava, and she's like a pure sevaka. She serves so nicely, and I don't know how Didi was so very, very kind to me, and there's so many memories with her, so much mercy she showed to me and to my family, and I just pray to her that I don't know how I deserved for her to, be so kind to me. My son was just sick maybe a month ago in the hospital, and she found out, or I told her, and she called like the hospital to talk to him and to, everything. She was so kind. I just pray that somehow that I won't ever forget her kindness to me, and everything that Gurudev's shown to me also, all the kindness and everything, and I hope that someday I can actually be a disciple. I pray to her that maybe just she can sprinkle one drop of her Guru Nistha to me. My heart is really nothing at all. Sometimes when I'm around devotees and I feel some emotion, but otherwise I don't have anything.
Prabhuji, speak in the mic, so sound.
Vande Shri Guru Varam Shri Rupanuga Pravaram Brajarasarasikam cha narayanam tvam prapannam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyaivacha Patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Wonderful was it, Didi? Really, I think most of us can't even begin to understand her glories. Glories of a Vaishnava are unlimited. The reason for this is that they are so close with Gurudev. They're so close with Krishna. There's a shlok that describes how the Vaishnava's glories are unlimited. Se sava gunahaya Vaishnava sharire Krishna bhakta Krishnera guna sakali sanchare. Within the Vaishnavas, all the qualities of Krishna become present. And this is because they are like Tadatmika. Tadatmika with Guru and so close to Krishna. So when you are so close to Krishna, like we saw with Srimati Didi, completely absorbed. And almost never seen a personality like Didi. Completely blissful, always chanting Harinam. I've never seen, even though she was traveling and so many difficulties, she never seemed to be stressed out at all. Always a huge smile on her face, always completely ecstatic. So she had such a close connection with Gurudev, with Guru Varga, and with Krishna. So naturally what happens is the qualities of Krishna, the qualities of Guru manifest in their sevaka. So this is how great a Vaishnava is. This is why it says, to the degree of their elevation, they are that much similar to Krishna. Sakshad Hari Tvain Nasamasta Shastra, until they reach that point where they are like non-different from Krishna. So Didi, how many qualities she possessed? Unlimited qualities. Our Gurudev used to say that trying to count the glories of a Vaishnava is like trying to count the stars in the sky. It's impossible. It's impossible to count the glories of a Vaishnava. But still we see when we try to count the stars, then all of a sudden we realize how many stars are actually there. We don't try, make an attempt to glorify Vaishnava, to remember their qualities, and actually we don't remember anything. So especially during the time of disappearance, and automatically we remember the qualities of a Vaishnava. In Chaitanya Charitamrita it says, Dukha Madhye Kona Dukha Haya Guru Tara Krishna Bhakta Viraha Har Dukha Dekhi Nahi Para. Mahaprabhu asked Rai Ramananda, what is the highest suffering? And Rai Ramananda said, other than suffering from separation from a Vaishnava, nothing else even compares. This is actually the only suffering, viraha, separation. So to that extent one has relationship, to that extent separation will be there. So it is natural when Vaishnava disappears from this world and we dwell on all of their qualities and all the remembrances that we had with them. So this is called Viraha Utsava. Sometimes it's very hard to understand. Utsava means festival. How you can have festival of separation. Remember, Srila Trivika Maharaj used to say this. He said, I've heard so many people say that, Avirbhav and Tirobhav is the same. Okay, I understand according to Tattva. But no one can tell me that when I'm feeling separation from my Guru Maharaj, I should be ecstatic. I should be joyful. Because if actually relationship is there, then that separation, that pain is so severe. So Madhuri had so many qualities. Again, someone who thinks that, I've been hearing Madhuri's glories for so many days now for 1 week. She's become viral, a sensation all over the internet. Everyone's hearing her glories, so many, but still, again, we can't even touch her glories. We said you cannot touch, you cannot count, but still we must try. This is called sadhana. This is how we become purified. Even if it's just one small remembrance, something very small. This is purifying for us to say, Vaishnava Charitra Sarvada Pavitra. Simply speaking the name of a Vaishnava, or to speak about narrating their qualities and remembrances. Even speaking the name of a Vaishnava, we become purified. So I'm so grateful for Maharaj especially, and all the devotees all around the world. We're all remembering Srimati Umadidi. Maharaj is traveling one city, one night, 5 or 6 nights in a row, simply to remind us all about Umadidi, and also to remember himself. In this way, we're all becoming purified. Only problem is that we have the tendency to forget. Maharaji was also saying that he wants to strike while the iron's hot, meaning that now all are remembering Umadidi, so now we should try to take advantage, become purified, remembering a pure Vaishnava. Because what will happen after some days, some months, some weeks, us will forget. Next year, will anyone honor Umadidi every year? I hope so. So I pray that we can. Not only every year, every day. Every day we should remember her. So this is our fortune that we have chance to remember, to praise her. This actually should be our only objective. If that day, one day goes by and we're not glorifying Gurudev and his Tadatmika Sevakas, then that day is completely wasted. So I just want to tell a few things that I remember about Srimati Umadidi. Really for my own purification, and to try to understand that the glories of Vaishnava is something very magical, the glories of our Guru Varga. The more that we attempt to glorify them, the more that we understand, the more deep our realizations and our relationship become. If we don't attempt to glorify them, then it seems very shallow. Very shallow. The more we attempt and we understand, actually, the glories of the Vaishnavas are deeper than millions upon millions of oceans. The more you dive deep, the more you understand there is no bottom. There is no depth. No limit. So I remember a few things about Umadidi. I don't want to take too much time. Really, we came here to hear Maharaj speak, so just 1 or 2 memories I have of Srimati Umadidi. I remember one thing especially, when we first came to Mathura, and I know everyone already knows her glories, how she was the only lady allowed to live inside Keshavji Gaudiya Mat. So this is, what a privilege, wonderful. And someone doesn't deserve this if they're not deserving. Someone doesn't receive this blessing if they're not fully deserving. So everyone respected Srimati Umadidi so much, especially Gurudev. Gurudev gave her so much special blessing. But I remember one thing especially, that she would always be completely absorbed in hearing Srila Gurudev's Harikatha. She would be the first one to sit in class and also the last one to get up out of class. She had so much taste in hearing Harikatha of Gurudev. Yesterday we were just hearing Maharaj say this is actually the symptom of a Vaishnava. Shrinvanti Gayanti Bhinanti Sadhava. If you want to identify a Vaishnava, just see who has taste in hearing Harikatha, who has taste in speaking Harikatha. A person who is constantly doing these 2 activities, you can understand, they are Vaishnava. They are receiving so much ananda in hearing Harikatha and speaking Harikatha. So almost I can never find anyone who is more absorbed in hearing Harikatha of our Gurudev than Srimati Umadidi. I remember like when I first came, my mother introduced me to her first time. And first thing that she asked my mother, we were just leaving actually back to America, and she said, next time you come back, bring me a tape recorder. At that time a little Walkman. Because she wanted to tape record all of Gurudev's lectures. So I saw her every time she put her recorder up on Gurudev's desk, and also, that time she must have been maybe like 75 or at least 70. She would be taking notes in Gurudev's class and also having her tape recorder there. After class was finished, she would take the recorder back into her room. Even though she already had her notes, she had just heard Harikatha, but she would listen again to Gurudev's class. And sometimes at that time, not that I know anything now, but I knew even less at that time, I would go to Didi to try to understand what Gurudev was speaking, because he was speaking Hindi at that time also. And Didi was so merciful. For like 1 hour a day after Gurudev's class, she would translate everything that Gurudev said to me, and I would take notes from her notes. She would read from her notes, and I would take my notes. And I realized at that point that she was completely absorbed in Gurudev's Harikatha. You can see, especially living in the temple, in the West, in our material lives, we are completely absorbed in what's happening in our business, with our children, with our family. But you're living in the temple with a Mahabhagavad Vaishnava, you only think one thing. Your entire day circulates simply around what did Gurudev speak today, what was in Gurudev's Harikatha. And I saw that Didi, her mind was completely absorbed in that. No need actually to look at her notes. She simply closed her eyes and completely repeated, almost word for word, everything that Gurudev said in the Harikatha. So I noticed that she had this sincere desire. And this is how she became so special, how she's so affectionate. Everyone, I've just been hearing, everyone simply repeats one main quality of Srimati Didi. How amazing was her affection, how overwhelming, overpowering was her affection. It was irresistible. Anyone who sees Didi, automatically they become captured by her affection. So someone doesn't become like this overnight. There's no artificial process to develop this affection. You cannot pretend to touch someone's heart. It has to be something deep from within. So Srimati Didi had that. And I was just thinking today that just like you see a young child, some young children are very morose and very distant and shut off, and other children are very affectionate and very happy. Main reason for this is because how they learn from their parents, they also behave like that. If they have affectionate parents, then also a child will be affectionate. So you see how much affection Didi had, you can understand how affectionate was her guardian. Not her mother, ordinary mother and father. Didi from very young age came in the association of Vaishnavas and completely surrendered, especially when she came to Mathura. Say Parama Bandhu, say Pita Mata Shri Krishna Charana Jai Prema Bhakti Data. Gurudev is my mother, Gurudev is my father, Gurudev is everything to me, because Gurudev gives me Krishna Prem. So we saw Didi's her complete dedication to Gurudev. She didn't know anyone else other than Gurudev. She actually had very little relationship with her blood family. And she accepted all the residents of the Mat, all the disciples of Guru, they now become my family. You can see all the brahmacharis there, they were like sons to Didi. We were just talking with Maharaj. Every time she came to the West, she would collect chocolates and toffees and special little toys even, and she would bring them back to Mathura and Vrindavan and distribute them to the brahmacharis. All the brahmacharis were so affectionate to her. So this affection, it came from Srila Gurudev. It came from the heart of Guru. And even this, so many of us say that we are disciples of Guru, but we do not have this affection. We do not have this overpowering love to attract people and to touch people's hearts. Because we're a disciple in name only. Gurudev said like that. He said, if you don't take the essence of my heart, then what type of disciple can we call ourselves? So I saw that from my limited vision, I can understand that really Didi, she is taking what Gurudev has given. She is taking the treasure of Guru's heart, through his Harikatha especially. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Kariya Aikya. The words emanating from the mouth of Guru, we should make them one with our heart. So I saw Didi was the absolute embodiment of this phrase. I witnessed that. I saw that she had so much regards. Everything in her life was only the Harikatha of Gurudev. Ara Nakariya Mane Ash. Means I don't desire anything else in this. Because the words emanating from the mouth of Guru, they're not ordinary. It says we should make them one with our heart. The reason is because those words that are emanating from the heart of Guru, from the mouth of Guru, they are also the same as his heart. If you want the value of Gurudev's heart, the treasure that is hidden there, Very easy process. Simply open your ears, first of all, and then your heart. Have it go in your ear and go in your heart. So I saw that Didi, she had so much focus in hearing Gurudev's Harikatha, and this is how she became so wonderful. Later she began to preach. This automatic result from someone who is hearing very, very seriously. It's like planting a seed in the soil and watering that seed. Automatic result is that something will grow from there. So that affection was planted in Didi's heart. For many years, Didi simply stayed in a room in Mathura. I remember one time, 1996, 97, we were in Australia with Gurudev, and my mother, she loved Didi so much. And what she desired at that time was that Didi would come preach in the West. And now, she's already preached, so we think, it's not such an amazing, far-out idea. But at that time, when my mother told Gurudev, Gurudev, here's $2,000, she gave Gurudev $2,000. I want, if possible, Gurudev, this should go towards ticket for Didi to come to the West. Gurudev looked at her and just laughed at her. He said, Didi, travel to the West? He said, I think better this money should go to publication, my publication. At that time, Gurudev was publishing his Bhagavad Gita. So for so long, Didi was very humble, simply staying in a room. And for those who have stayed in the mat, they know how much tapasya, how much austerity one has to endure. I just heard recently that they wouldn't even allow Didi to have a hot water heater in her room. Why? Because someone even donated a hot water heater to her. They didn't allow her to install because then they have to pay something for electricity. So when I first came to the mat, they actually gave me a room just next to Didi, upstairs in room 20 in the corner. So at that time I remember, again, I was just a small boy at that time, but I remember waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
It's the biggest room in the mat.
Yeah. And just next to it was, before she was living next to Gurudev's room, but then when they made Gurudev's room and Madhamar's room, she had to switch to another room. Somehow or other I was put there, me and Gaur-Sundar Prabhu were put there. I remember waking up 1:32 in the morning and hearing someone crying. Didn't understand who it was. And then every morning I'd wake up, every morning I'd hear someone crying. And I listened very carefully, understood, this is Didi from the other room. She's not crying, actually she's singing Stavan Stuti, all these ashtakams, all these prayers by Sad Goswami. At that time I didn't know them, but later, once I stayed a little longer, I started to identify what she was singing in the morning. All these things that she's taken in her heart, this is from Gurudev. Gurudev also is teaching all the brahmacharis how to seriously pray. Prarthana is an art. Prarthana is not simply something that you can adopt. We have to learn the process of prarthana, of sincere prayer. Every morning Didi would wake up, even when she came to the West, she would continue this. And she would be crying, she would be weeping, singing all these songs and ashtakams. So one day I remember in the morning I came out, and that time just didn't know how to behave with Vaishnavas, and I told Didi, you're singing very beautifully in the morning time. And she started to laugh. She's like, not beautiful, I sing like a donkey. So no need to praise me like that. So she was also so humble. Whenever someone actually becomes qualified, the natural result, if real qualification, and just like a fruit is filled with trees, automatically the branches bend down. The same way if a Vaishnava is adorned with all good qualities, then automatically they become humble. So very rare to find a Vaishnava as qualified as Didi at the same time as humble as Didi. So she's taken all these things into her heart, and that's why later in her life, when she did begin to preach, that's why it was successful. Actually, her English wasn't so good. I can guarantee that most people, probably 50% of the people who sat down, they couldn't understand anything she was saying.
She was speaking Bengali in English.
Yeah, very interesting language.
Hindi and Bengali together.
But still, everyone's heart was stolen. Everyone had so much affection for her. Why? Because she has some shakti in her words, because she has performed achar. She has practiced herself. Therefore, when anything she speaks, whether it's understandable or not, sound vibration goes into the ear and then into the heart and takes effect in the heart. And one other quality of her, another way, actually the fastest way to someone's heart is through the mouth. She would feed everyone prasadam. In this way, she would always also change their heart. So again, the glories of Didi are unlimited. So how much we are deprived now, we don't have her association. One thing that I was always thinking after Gurudev left, is that treasure that Gurudev came to give, that it was not lost because it's still in the heart of his intimate disciples. So just like a father, he has affection for his sons. So he arranges inheritance for his children. This is just natural. So after he leaves, they'll be completely set up, no hardships. So if an ordinary father can do like this, then Gurudev also, he must be able to do. So I felt so much comfort feeling like this. And I've experienced also that the only connection to Guru after Guru is not present before us is through his Tadatmika Sevakas, through those who actually took his mood. And you can see when you're sitting in front of them hearing Harikatha, it feels like now I'm hearing from Gurudev. That connection is there. So I'm just praying today that I see now one by one these sevakas are leaving. And really, if they all leave, then I'll feel like an orphan. So even though I know, I've seen like, hearing that Umadi, she wanted to go, for so long she wanted to go. Remember one thing Pujyapad Premanand Prabhu said after Tirtha Maharaj left? He was also weeping at that time, and he said, before Gurudev left, he called some of us and he said, don't think that after I leave that you won't come with me. There's so much more seva to do, and wherever I go, I will also bring all of you with me. So Prabhuji said that actually Tirtha Maharaj was most qualified. That's why Gurudev took him first of all. Now we see Umadidi is next. Or Prabhuji was also praying at that time, like, when will Gurudev take me? So I know all these Vaishnavas, they have so much separation from Guru. It's so difficult for them to live one day in this world after Gurudev left. I know they all want to go there, so I feel almost selfish, but still I'm going to pray that really if they all leave, then I'm simply praying to Gurudev. Gurudev is actually in charge of everything, in charge of all of his servants. So I'm praying to the lotus feet of Gurudev. Please, as long as possible, keep them in this world so we can still have this connection to Gurudev. We can still feel his presence, we can still hear his Harikatha as long as possible. So this is my only prayer today. My Dandava Pranams. Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. Vanchakalpatrubhishcha kripa sindhubhye vachapatidanan pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo.
Mansi Didi, she also served Uma Didi so many years. Idhar aa sakte hain? Shantu, let her come here.
Namayam Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmani Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namiti Vanchakalpatrubhishcha kripa sindhubhye vachapatidanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. When I think of Uma Didi, I think of this picture. I think of the beautiful smile she always had on her face. Always. It could be even when she was slightly mad at Ranga Didi or me for something. In a minute, she would be back to this pose. And that's how I remember Uma Didi. The very first time I saw her, it was in Histon when the temple was being inaugurated. And she was sitting on the side with a group of just 4 or 5 devotees who were speaking in Hindi. And I was like, something sweet was happening because everybody was radiating in that corner. Everybody. So I quickly ran there and I said, okay, I have to hear what's happening here. And she was talking about Krishna, and she was talking about how Krishna had stolen a kiss on Radharani's cheek. Such a high bhav, so sweetly was spoken that it went straight in the heart as if we had just drank pure nectar. These are the things that we are forbidden to hear. These are the things that cause agitation in our heart. But coming from the lotus lips of a pure Vaishnava, they can just be so thirst quenching. I was in awe and reverence. I was like, oh my God, what did she just speak? And what did I hear? And at the same time, it was just so sweet. I had an intense desire right away. I was like, I have to call her home one day. So I approached her and I said, Didi, why don't you come to Vancouver? You know, we also want to serve you but she was only doing US tour at that time. She didn't have the visa for Canada. So she said, Ranga Didi wasn't even in the service at that time. I think Ranga Didi was still...
She
was still a Grahastha at that time. So while Srila Gurudev was still giving her katha, so Srila Gurudev we could still see. So we were back to, Srila Gurudev, and just how Maharaji was saying today, that we sometimes, or even Srila Gurudev used to say, that when we are going to depart, that's when you're going to realize what you had and what you missed. So we were then fortunate that Krishna brought us into US, and when we came to US, all of a sudden, it was so easy for more and more Vaishnavas to come to us. And Srila Uma Didi, then graced us with her presence and accepted the invitation to come and stay with us. That was the very first time it hosted us. She didn't know us, we didn't know her very well, but I think it was 2017, 2016, somewhere around that
17.
time. 17. But at that time, she was still, I saw her come with like an entire entourage of suitcases and food, and her loving service for Krishna and cooking for Krishna was just so inspiring. It was like, oh my God, how a mother accepts a child the moment they're born. That's how she accepted all of us, that came here, or at least that's how I felt. Like how Didi said, we're not allowed to, touch and massage, Maharaji's. But with Uma Didi, we would just go in the room and we're like, Didi, we want to massage your feet. She's like, no need, I'm okay. No, Didi, we want to. Because she didn't know me that well, but still she was so merciful that even Hemant would sit down and I would sit down and we would massage her feet, and she'd be like, oh, now I have to give you something if you're going to serve me. She would always say, cannot be like that. And the same thing. So first time she came, and she was cooking a lot more. And then, but the second time that she came, then she'd seen that I could cook too. So she's like, okay, now I can sit. Now you can feed me and I'll eat your food. And I was so happy. I was so happy that she would maybe cook one thing, but if 2 or 3 things I had made, she was like satisfied with that. So she would eat whatever I was cooking for her. This one day, like how pure Vaishnavas, when they come, their life is, they're the topmost, highest form of service. Each and every action that they do, that is for us to understand how we should be. From morning till night, it was always kirtan, harikatha, mala jap. We went bhoga shopping one day, and her entire energy at that time was, oh, I'm picking up this bengan. Will Thakurji like it or not? She told me, she's like, when you go out shopping and you're going out buying some stuff, don't think that you want to enjoy it. Think that you have to offer it to Krishna. What is he going to like? One time she said that she was really excited to cook something for Gurudev, and she thought, yeah, she made a really good preparation. And it went to Srila Gurudev, and she was like, I'm going to go in the room, and Gurudev is going to tell me, Uma, very good food, very good food. And she's like, I went to the room, and he chastised me so much. So much chili in the food. Krishna's mouth is so soft like a lotus lip. If you give so much chili, Krishna can't eat it. And Uma Didi was like, even as she was telling me this, her eyes were tearing up. And, she's like, spice is okay, but chili is not. She's giving me this instruction as she was talking. So everything that they do, there's always, she was like the highest definition of Trinadapi Sunicham. Even when other Maharajas were there, I remember she was, even Siddhanti Maharaj and Uma Didi were there at the same time, and she would be like, Maharaji, please bless me that I get some service. No regard for age or experience or anything, because Maharaji is a sannyasi. She's telling us, higher ashram, we should, and I'm sure Maharaji was like bending back again and paying obeisances. It was such a all like you're just standing there like, oh my God, what are these two doing? You know, you're paying obeisance to him, she's paying obeisance to her. But just that pure respect of how we should be surrendered to each other. That's what she was like a full embodiment of. Hemant just recently, Hemant had gone to Kartik, Parakram, just this last Kartik, and he was in the room with Uma Didi, went to pay obeisances and darshan, and she's like, I called up and I was talking to her. You know the first thing she tells me? The first thing she tells me is, you're not feeding your Thakurji. First thing, oh my God, I was so embarrassed. I was like, how does she know? I mean, how does she know I'm not offering my Thakurji food? I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh Didi, I'm so sorry. Yes, I haven't offered him, something. And she's like, no, cook for him, feed him. And I'm thinking after that, I'm like, well, Hemant was in the room. She could have told him too, but she didn't tell him. She told me because she's teaching me that I'm the woman of the house. It is my responsibility to make sure everybody Thakurji is fed, no matter how we can progress, no matter how much we can be working, and no matter what we're doing, it is our responsibility as a woman to take care of our family, and Krishna is the head of our family. So small things that these Vaishnavas do, small things that these Vaishnavas say, but everything has a very, very deep meaning that we should always try and understand. Why are they saying this to us? It is always for our upliftment and our benefit. One time I'd made prasad for her for dinner, and she's like, after eating, she's like, come sit here. I have to give you Harikatha. I was like, why Didi? Why right now? No, you've served me so well. I can only give you what I have in return. And what I have is Krishna Katha. So sit down. She made me sit down, and she spoke, just no one was there. Only me. And she said, I have to give you Harikatha because you served me so well. Can you imagine at her age how difficult it is to speak, and still she's giving me so much of that energy just to me, just because she felt indebted, just because I'd done some seva. I told Didi, I said, Didi, that means you don't consider me my own, because Ranga Didi is serving you so much, and you don't, with every service that she does, she doesn't give you her Harikatha. She's like, no, I love you so much. Come sit down, I want to tell you something. Just so much love and affection. We could have hugged her, we could have, I think when Shri Gurudev used to speak Harikatha, and it was so much, you could sit in Shri Gurudev's Harikatha and you had to smile all the time, except when he was talking about Ram. Oh my God, it was like you had to cry the whole time then. But that was the same thing with Uma Didi. I felt like continuous surrender, always talking about starting Harikatha, ending Harikatha with Shri Guru. This is what we heard. Srila Gurudev, Srila Gurudev, Srila Gurudev, Srila Gurudev, Srila Gurudev, the entire time. So much love and affection, so much Trinadapi Sunichanam, every time teaching us what is right, what is wrong. We could ask for anything. She was a woman. There was no Maryada question that we had to be careful of to ask. And everything, she was never judgmental of anything. Everything she would reply very, very easily. I have failed her in her expectations of me for what she gave me instructions, but I pray on this day that she gives me mercy, that gives me strength to follow her instructions better. She's so simple, one day I had gone in the morning for work, but I told Uma Didi, like, what about lunch? She was always worried about me or the kids. They're like, no, you have to eat. So I said, okay, Didi, I'm going to go my morning work, and then I'm going to come back and eat. And Hemant called me once. It's like, Didi's saying, when are you coming back? I said, okay, yeah, I'm coming. Because I was like, I leave sometimes in the morning because Hemant's home. Hemant can, feed everyone. And we never, ever eat before, any of the preachers have eaten anyway. So I was like, okay, I'll go to the end. And then Hemant called me the second time and he was so mad. He's like, why are you not here? Didi's not eating till the time you come here. And I was shocked. I was like, Didi's hungry and she's waiting for me because I'm not home? Oh my God, that was just eye-opening. I was like, okay, I'm leaving, I'm coming. And as soon as I came, she was like, why? You told me you're going to be here. Why are you not here? Sit down. And I'm like, no, you sit down. I'll make your rotis first. You eat. And then she had, but that much love and affection for someone that she barely knew, someone that barely served her. I didn't get the opportunity to be with her for so many years and so many times, but that's the quality of a pure Vaishnav. They just do not discriminate anyone. They just give love freely. No regards to qualification, no regards to anything. They're just there to give us love. So if all of us pray today, all of us are here. She's our mother. She's so merciful. If we ask her to give us an opportunity to serve Sri Guru and Vaishnav, she's extremely merciful and she is going to listen to all of us. So please, Didi, I know you're present. You will never leave any of us alone. Please give us your blessings. Please bless all of us here together. Please give us an ocean of a drop of, how Prabhuji just said, just a drop of that Guru Nishtha that you had for your Gurus. We will be most indebted to you.
Didi ki jai. Hemant even gets chastised today by, every day when any preacher comes, it's a hard time for him. Master Didi always just on his case. Why he has to do this? Why he has to do this? What are you doing? All day she's shouting at Hemant.
Maraji just एक सेकंड में धन्यवाद देगी तो मैं फिर छोड़ के आऊंगी.
Oh, you going?
इसका फिर
Okay, Garg. Hare Krishna.
इसकी परफॉर्मेंस है अभी.
Okay.
मैसेज.
Gurudev Krishna bless you.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Radhikaya Priyatmaya. Everyone knows that I'm not a good speaker, and I know I'm not a good speaker. I can't speak. I'm way too emotional, and Bhakti Madhuri Uma Didi ki. She was one of a kind. Bhuto na bhavishyati. I don't think so. There's anyone coming like her. There's anyone before like her. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that anyone who served and stayed in a mutt for their own life, any brahmacharis or any sannyasis or any people, they're surely to achieve Prema Bhakti. And Uma Didi did it for 70 plus years. 70 plus years. Some people say 75, some people say 70 plus. 70 plus years living in a mutt where no women were allowed to live in a mutt. And being Indian, being from India, lived in India, I know how difficult it is to live in a mutt. It's not easy, and especially in Gaudiya mutts, because there is no lavish funding like a lot of other temples, and it's service and love and chastisement. I only went there a few times in India, and I've seen myself how difficult it is, a mutt life. This time also when I went for Kartik, the only complaint I had is Indians are too pushy and they put down anybody junior to them and they expect too much. Like, we live in a West, so we became very sophisticated. We don't shout at anyone, we do our things and we expect everyone to do their thing. How she lived 70 years and the laugh on her face, the smile on her face, even when she left this material world, the most beautiful laugh, like the smile I have seen, is on her face. Her face was radiating. She was happy because she was going to go with her Gurudev. She was going to go with her abode where her Gurudev and her, dearmost heart is serving and doing some seva. So she is definitely there with them. The love, I think what our Gurudev had, Uma Didi had all of those qualities, all of those, not even a cent less. She was just so merciful. Everybody, wherever she went, wherever she gave her association to, everybody loved her. She loved everyone and everybody loved her. People like us who live in the West, we have a very different expectation. But when Maharajji, preachers, Didi, all these people stay 24/7 with you, then only you know their real qualities. And I witnessed so much love. Even it's forbidden, like, how Mansi was saying and Didi was saying, that, and it's a Indian custom that if I'm a male, I should not touch a female body. And if you're a female, you should not massage. But I, being Hemant, like everybody knows, like I have a tendency to just go close to, like if I feel like I was in Gurudev's room even in 2010 somehow with Maharajji and Madhapriya's mercy, I got into the room, and then same thing with Uma Didi. I sat close to her and I tried to sneak my hand and massage her feet, and she's like she was like trying to, that is not proper. But then she knows that I have a very keen desire to serve, so she did let me, and I was just sitting quietly and massaging her feet. She did let me, and she was just so merciful. Even in India, in Kartik, this year, she was not well, she was sick. I wanted to go and meet her. My own personal desire, I just want to, and then somehow, because Srivas was living in the Gopinath Bhavan and Ranga Didi and things like that, so they did allow me. And again, I was touching her feet, and she did let me. Even though she was not well, she used to come almost every day on Kartik Parikrama. Almost every day. Ranga Didi was fighting with her and telling, please don't go, don't do, you're not well. But like recently, I watched so many videos on Param Gurudev disappearance day, on Bhaktisiddhanji's. Like, they were telling, okay, program is starting. Like, she was not ready. She was like, within a second, she put a tilak and let's go. She had so much taste for Harikatha. I am not that I'm not very good in words, but I'm not very lucky as Didi and Shravan Prabhu and Maharaj who spend months and months and months, and it feels like eternity. If a 10 kg rice bag, I just got a mercy of one rice, and these people got a mercy of a full 10 kg rice bag. But it's still that one rice was more than enough for this lifetime. More than enough for this lifetime, because she gave us so much mercy. Totally undeserving, but very strong desire to serve. So somehow she and Gurudev both, they gave us so much mercy unconditionally. She came from a very nice Vaishnavi family. Her mother, disciple of Param Gurudev, she even met Param Gurudev. And one thing I strongly feel, I don't know whether it's right or not, Maharaji, correct me. For any building, there has to be 4 pillars. And our Param Gurudev built so much. And it always said there was 3 pillars, Bhaktivedanta Vaman Maharaji, Bhaktivedanta Trikramga Maharaji, and our Gurudev. I feel Uma Didi was the 4th pillar. She had exactly the mood, the Gurudev. I really feel like what mood Gurudev had, Uma Didi had. Like, and every devotee, she used to, like, I've been hearing so much, and everybody's saying that I didn't know this thing till 5-6 days before, that she was not well for since 80s. Like, she had problem in walking, she has this and that, but I didn't feel that she had any problems. When I met her first time at airport to pick her up, I don't remember much in Houston, but I only remember when she came to visit her. I was like, will these luggage and suitcase will fit in my car? And it was nothing for her. It was all for devotees. She had so much, how most Indian people knows that generally Indian ladies, they have so much mamta for the family. So because she is the mother of our Gurudev Sangha, so she had so much mamta for each and every devotee. So all those suitcases, like, she used to travel with tons of luggage. Like, she's just exactly opposite of Maharaji. When it compares to traveling, Maharaji travels with nothing, and she used to travel with so much. It's because she had so much mamta for all these disciples. She used to, like, I didn't know this, but Kishore Prabhu was telling that she used to travel with paper, pencil, notebooks, chocolate, this and that, like tons of. So all those suitcases are for brahmacharis, and it's not easy. It's like she's on a wheelchair. She can't walk properly. But she had so much mamta for every person. It's amazing. Like, her glorification is been going on for almost a week now. Today is the 6th day. And every devotee I've been hearing is how much love she had, how much Guru Nishtha she had. She used to be the first one in Mangalarti. She used to even get up 2 o'clock. She barely sleep. I've seen her here 24/7. She's chanting, meditating. I saw her one time. I came down. She was chanting and crying. So I was quiet because we had the same experience with Gurudev, and the tears were flowing from her eyes, and she's chanting. And I went up and told Mansi, I'm like, Didi, she was like, anyway, these things are not supposed to be said. I remember this pastime is something close to my heart. Srivas and Madhukar, two brahmacharis, generally whenever they are in the West, especially Srivas, he comes and stays with us quite a bit. So for last so many years, I think they've been serving Uma Didi by translating the letters of Vaman Maharajji to Uma Didi. So for last 2 years, whenever Srivas and Madhukar came, they were working on that particular letters. So last time when Srivas came, he told me this pastime, and recently on Didi's thing, he mentioned that pastime, which I would like to say and then end my thing. Last year when Didi was performing a Swasthilila, and this exact pastime happened with Gurudev in Houston. But we were not present at that time. So Srivas said Didi had some big medical problems last year. They took her to the hospital. Srivas was there. He was holding Didi's hand. Didi was holding her, no, he was holding Didi's hand. And she was, at that time in hospital, she was getting a cardiac arrest. There was so much chaos at that time because Ranga Didi was giving us some medicine, doctors were giving us something, somebody was speaking something. And Didi said to Srivas, sing morning prayers. And Srivas, being very nervous, he's like that, and he started Guru Ashtakam. But then he was worried that he might forget the line. And Didi, being so sick, getting cardiac arrest at the same time, if she knew what is going on in Srivas' heart, and so she speak that line, so he couldn't forget, on Guru Ashtakam, any line, if he thought he will forget, she sang that line in loud voice, that particular verse, and then Srivas could pick it up. And after a few minutes, they put that thing on iPad, on Gopinath Bhavan, the Mangal Aarti going on, and Srivas said, Prabhuji, exactly the line going in Gopinath Gauriya Bhavan, Didi was singing the same thing. So the moment to moment it was matching. How amazing is that she service, and she never missed any Mangal Aarti. She never missed her morning prayers. So even at this situation when she is that sick, having cardiac arrest, having so much chaos going on, she was in tune with her Mangal Aarti. She was that attached to all our, I don't know what I'm saying, but Vansha Kaltarvashya Kripa Sindhu Bhavichara Patita Nam Bhavim Vaishnava Namo Namah. Bhakti Madhuri Uma Didi ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Everyone, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Loudly, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We are hearing glories of Uma Didi, which is going around the world, everyone remembering her, speaking the glories. It is said in the journal, any ordinary person, when he takes birth, is known by his birth. But a holy person, means sadhu, is not known by the birth, but is known by when he or she leaves. It's totally opposite. No matter where they take birth, that's not important. How they leave body, that's very important. And all depends on how we leave body. Yam yam vyapi smarankaram tajyate kalevaram. The consciousness, when we leave body, we attain the next body. There's a journal criteria. But with devotees, with pure Vaishnavas, it's totally different. Because their absorption is always in following the standard established by Guru Parampara, following the standard Siddhanta established by Mahaprabhu, and remembering Shri Radha Krishna and Braj. This is the glories of sadhus. Therefore Krishna himself, he glorifies his sadhus. Sadhu hidi mayam, sadhu hidim tamaham. Mad anatrita jananti ta naham tebhyo mananopi. Krishna says, sadhu is in my heart and I am in the heart of sadhus. Krishna says, even though I am independent, but I am not independent. Krishna is independent, yes? Bhagavatam first verse says, Janma dasya yataha anvyad itiris charthishu abhigya swarat. Swarat means independent. The beginning of Bhagavatam starts with this. That Krishna is independent Lord. He is not dependent on anything. But Krishna himself says and claims this, that aham bhakt paradhina hai aswatantra dija. I am paradhin. I am dependent on my devotees. Why that independent Lord is dependent on the devotees? Why? Because my nirbandh hidaya sadhu samdarshanam vashe kurvanti mad bhaktaya satpatni satpati yatha. Just like a chaste wife with her loving services, she controls the chaste husband. Similarly, my devotees, Krishna saying, my devotees, they are very chaste. And with that loving services, they controls me. And that's why Krishna, getting controlled by his devotees, he followed the footsteps of the devotees. Anu brajameham nityam puya tareno angravi. He follows the footsteps of devotees and he smeared the dust from the lotus feet of devotees on his head. Krishna. Why? Because of their unconditional loving services for Krishna. They don't desire anything. Devotees, they don't desire anything for themselves. They all desire everything for Krishna. This is their unconditional love. Their sadhana, their practice, their moods, their love, their affection, everything is centered in Krishna. This is called Krishna consciousness. When the consciousness is not with Krishna, then this material consciousness. Just giving birth to children, raising them, and then keeping some bank balance for them. This is not the life about. There's something beyond this life, because this has been happening and going to happen in all the lifetimes. But something which is missing is following spirituality. Most important. Because at the end of the day, we all are individuals and we all have to go and leave this world. We are in a guest house. This is not my home, this is a guest house. I'm here for some couple of years. And I have to leave everyone. But all living are not same. When sadhus they leave, they get glorified all around the world. And this is, I'm not just saying this, Gurudev used to say this, that when sadhus leave this world, they get more popular, they get more glorified. And Srila Gurudev said, when I will leave, then the world will understand what I have given to this world. Yeah. So very straight and bluntly saying, when Uma Didi was present, I was with her almost from the year 2000 to 2010. We were in Keshavji Gaudiya Math and Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math. And just staying so close, like my room and her room just opposite. And we used to see each other every day, greet, pranams. We used to pay pranams to her. Being brahmachari, we used to pay pranams to Didi and she used to bend down. And with so much difficulty, seeing that all brahmacharis, saffron cloth brahmacharis paying obeisances to her, she feels so embarrassed. Even though she was senior most. That's the quality of Vaishnavas. Amanina manadena. The most difficult part is this. Who can chant eternally? Mahaprabhu said, Tanadapi Sunichena. One who is maintaining humility more lower than a blade of grass. If you step on grass, the grass bends. Moment you step out, the grass stands straight. But Vaishnavas are more humble than a blade of grass. Another is Tarorapi Seshuna, more tolerant than trees. You know how much trees are tolerating? Summers, winters, storms, everything. They tolerate so much. They are in sun, they are under sun, in scorching heat, but they are giving shade to everyone. These are the qualities of trees. Their life is for others. But the third, which is very difficult and important, is amanina manvena. Never expecting honor for oneself and giving respect and honor to everyone. If anyone develops this quality, can chant eternally. Kirtanya Sadhari. She Uma Didi, she was following all these standards. Trinadapi Sunichena, very humble. Being so senior, if I would have seen Param Gurudev in my life, if I would have served Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj from very early age of my life, and Trikar Maharaj early age of my life, and associate with Gurudev, even travel with Gurudev, sometimes in trains and buses and all, I would have really short of myself. But I'm more senior. Have you ever seen Param Gurudev in your life? You would say, no, I have seen. I would have short of this. But Uma Devi never in her life, believe me, staying 10 years with her in the mud. 10 years in the mud, but then other years also we sometimes come across preaching in some countries. I was here in Seattle one time, here in the same place.
Rath Yatra, Jagannath.
We observed Rath Yatra here, Uma Didi and me together speaking Hari Katha. She never ever, believe my word, ever said that I'm more senior than you. Never. Because I've seen Param Gurudev, which means a lot. If anyone say, oh, I've seen Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, it means a lot. She never ever said this. My memory is not that bad. Sometimes it's bad, but not that bad. And I still remember she never ever said this and claimed this. Brahmacharis, we all used to pay obeisances to her. In that difficult situation, being not very healthy, she used to pay obeisances to brahmacharis. Back. Keshavji Gaudiya Math mein. We were together there, he knows. And sometimes she used to just go down like this if she is not able to, pay on the ground. Pay with her obeisances on the ground. But she never used to say. Yes, but when we used to ask her, can you describe something of your life. Then smilingly she used to say, what benefit you derive by hearing my life story? I would rather say the story of my Gurudev. But we used to like inquisitive, Didi, please, something. And without any hesitation. You see, this is very important. If we have to describe something of our life, we always speak about positive things. No one is ready to share the negative things. How sinful I was, how I was in my last, previous lifestyle. No one. And she's so simple, because simplicity, Vaishnavas is simple. Simplicity is next to क्या बोलते हैं? She was so simple. And she said, okay, if you want to hear. And her hands used to go like this. So I was very fancy and a city girl. So much decoration all the time. Fancy clothes, expensive clothes, because very rich. From very rich family. So I was a city girl, I was very fancy. Always fond of wearing new clothes. All these new outfits.
Makeup,
Expensive
jewelry.
one. And makeup, jewelry, all this. Very openly she was telling this. But there was a change in my life. When I heard what is the meaning of life. And there was a life before this life, and there is going to be a life after this life. What is the difference between body and soul? Am I a body or am I a soul? When I heard these topics from a sadhu, Shri Bhaktivedanta Vikram Maharaj, who was very strong in narrating all this, without caring you like it or you don't like it, but that's the truth. And then she said that was a transformation in my life. And I started applying tilak on my forehead. Before she didn't like this idea. What is this you put on your forehead? What is this stamping? What is this tattoo? She applying tilak. She said, after this, yasyasti bhagavad bhakta kinchana sargunasti samasto suraha. There's a formula. We all want good qualities to reflect on us. And after hearing the glories of your devotees, we get some inspiration in the heart. Oh, can I also become like them? Can I also become like them? So, yasyasti bhagavad bhakta kinchana sarguneste samasto suraha. How can all good qualities can reflect on us? One who follows the akinchana bhakti, the pure bhakti, which is not mixture bhakti. Then don't have to ask for good qualities, it spontaneously reflects on us. Spontaneously. But hara abhaktasya kuto mahad guna manorathe nasti dhavati vahi. How come the good qualities can reflect on us if we are riding on the horse of our mind, which wanders in all 10 directions, one who is not controlled? How come the good qualities can come? Never possible. How to follow that? What is the meaning of that pure bhakti, akinchana bhakti? That bhakti is called Sarupa Bhakti, which consists of Shravanam, Kirtanam and Smaran. Hearing, chanting and remembering. And these three ingredients, these three important limbs of bhakti was then followed by Shri Didi throughout her life and to the last breath. That's why all qualities of Samasto Suraha, the qualities of Sura means demigods. But demigods, they are mode of goodness. Vaishnavas, they don't have qualities of mode of goodness, they have qualities beyond mode of goodness. So here Sura means the associates of the Lord. One who follow the pure bhakti, then the qualities of associates of Lord reflects, means infuse in that Vaishnava or Vaishnavi. Krishna Sakala Gun, kya bola tha? Sakale Sanchare. All the qualities of Krishna. Krishna here means the associates of Krishna. No, because there are certain qualities of Krishna, Vaishnava cannot have those qualities.
Krishna is Vilas. He performed his Vilas, Rasa Leela and all. Vaishnavas can't do that. But the qualities of the associates of Krishna get infused or reflect in the Vaishnavas. This is called oneness, tadatme. For example, if you put an iron bar in fire for 10 hours and they take the iron bar back, out from the fire, the iron bar also assumes the same qualities as fire. This is called oneness, tadatme. So it's so natural process, so natural. If we are in that fire, means in that absorption in Krishna, then definitely the qualities of Krishna get reflect because you get Krishnanized. Not Krishnanized? Huh? If we are absorbed in Krishna, what will happen? Krishnanized. If an iron bar get rust, what is that process called? क्या बोलते हैं? Not rusting. Iodized. Iodized. Similarly, if the consciousness is for Krishna, then the consciousness get Krishnanized. In consciousness being Krishna means, as Didi was showing with her own example, she was in female body. If she would have been a male body, by now, definitely she would have had thousands and thousands of followers around the world. Because of her this quality and because of her so much closeness with all these three acharyas. If she would have been a male body. Thousands of followers around the world. Ebe yash ghushuk tribhuvana. Her glories, which is also present now, but would have been more. But this is not what the Vaishnavas want, that I get glorified everywhere. That's not the mood. But very, very special because living a brahmachari life in the temple with the brahmacharis, so rare. After being getting so much oppositions, Tarorapi says, Shuna, very tolerant like tree. She gone through some oppositions. Imagine, a place, a small center, not a very huge center. A small center, limited rooms, and where 70 brahmachari used to stay. 70 brahmacharis. And one lady in that temple. Imagine how it is, how it looked like. Imagine if you're a boy and you're staying with 70 ladies. So uncomfortable situation. She gone through some complications, some oppositions in the beginning years. Devotees didn't like this idea. But at what cost? She was always staying in the temple, don't want to leave, even though getting so much difficult words to hear, only because of the point of Shri Narayan Maharaj is here and he speaks wonderful Rasik Katha just because of this point. That means she valued that gravity of Srila Gurudev's acharan, means the conduct he is showing, and his Rasik Harikatha, which can't be available anywhere in the world. Unparalleled. Cannot. And she used to tell us, even though my Guru Maharaj is Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, and she had so much regard, but she said my Guru Maharaj was not speaking much. And she used to worship him so much. To that point, where her house in Calcutta, in Bengal, Chitchura, very near to her house was a center, Gaudiya Math, Udaran Gaudiya Math. And Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, who was the Acharya of the complete society, Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti, instead of eating prasadam at the center, he used to go her house to honor prasadam. Because even from the young age, she was very young when she started Krishna consciousness. Her husband died at a very early age. You know? And then she heard Hari Katha and so much transformation that even from the young age she was having this mood of how you say? No, not service, motherly affection. Even from the young age. Not only when she become old, then motherly affection come. From the young age, that mood of motherly affection. Vatsalya for her Guru Maharaj. Motherly affection for her Guru Maharaj. And therefore she surrendered everything to him. Whatever possessions. I was hearing some devotee was explaining, whatever ornament she had, whatever gold she had, whatever cash she had, everything given to her Guru Maharaj. I mean, she offered everything to her Guru Dev, yes. Srila Bhaktivedanta Mahamad Goswami. Everything. Without thinking what's going to happen to me. Who's going to take care of me? This is called, these words are not simple. Think of this. It's so difficult. Krishna Eka Sharanam. This is called Ekantik, one-pointed surrenderness. That if I'm offering everything to my Gurudev, he is going to, and Krishna is going to take care of me. Because of her, this kind of surrender mood, giving everything to Gurudev, everything. And then she gave her life after this. What she got in return? Proximity with devotees, proximity with Hari Katha, proximity with Hari Naam, and absorption in that. Because of our one attempt and one endeavor, sincerely, honestly, without any formalities, with love, if we are really willing to serve Krishna in any way, with our mind, with our words, with body, with our wealth, possessions, whatever, you see, there are going to be some impressions in the heart. And the impressions in the heart come in the form of my own inclination and taste in chanting and hearing. Why some people don't have any taste in chanting hearing? Because there is no service mood. Moment you start serving with love, not as a formality. Moment you start serving any Vaishnava with love and affection, these things automatically going to get reflected on you. The result is you develop taste in chanting. You develop taste in hearing. This is called Sarup Siddha Bhakti, not Arup Siddha or Sanga Siddha Bhakti. Uma Didi, she was following this, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaran, so much into hearing and chanting. In Mathura, Keshavji Gaudiyamad, she was the first one to come in a temple hall for Mangalarti. I think throughout her life she never skipped Mangalarti. 70 years. Never skipped any day Mangalarti. No matter if it is storm or she is not well or whatever the case is. Never ever. She was the first one to come and sit in a temple hall before the program starts in the morning and evening. Because in center there are two time programs, morning and evening. First one to sit, no matter who is speaking Harikatha. If any big sannyasi is speaking or just a young boy who just joined 2 years back. Personal experience I'm telling, I'm not just fabricating. Sometimes I used to speak, Marapi Prabhu used to speak, and sometimes some very young brahmachari in our absence. No matter who is speaking Harikatha, she is the first one to sit there and last one to go, as we heard from devotees. And I did ask her one time. I'm keep speaking this point everywhere where I'm going. Because that's really touching my heart so much. I asked, Didi, you are so senior. What is that which you don't know? In terms of any Siddhanta Tattva, you know so much. Even though with very humble mood, she was expressing many times, I'm not a good speaker. I can't express. I can't choose good words. But if anyone is speaking any Hari Katha with some mistakes, he immediately used to catch, no, this is not correct. I got caught many times. I was speaking Hari Katha evening in Keshavji Gaudiya Math, and after speaking Hari Katha, I just packed my book and running to my room, and she was standing at the stairs, that temple hall stairs, and asked this question to me. Why you said that? Why you said this? Where is it written? I said, well, I heard this. No, this is not correct. Immediately she correcting. Instead of this, you would have said that. Then I was so used to get surprised. Oh my goodness. Seems like she's a very quiet speaker, listener, and seems like she's dozing when she's here in a Hari Katha, but actually not. She was fully concentrating while hearing Hari Katha. That was her life and soul, hearing Hari Katha. So I asked Didi, why you have to hear this brahmachari? He's very young. He don't even know much. What was his answer? She used to say, I'm not hearing Hari Katha to see who's speaking. I'm here to honor Hari Katha, to give respect to Hari Katha. Something which is equivalent to Krishna is what? This world, this universe? Nothing. Anything which is equivalent to Krishna is either name Krishna or Krishna Katha. Non-different. Abhinatva nama nama. See, this is what her Siddhanta. This is her absorption. What is equivalent to Krishna? The name of Krishna and Katha Krishna. Tava Kathamritam. These are two things which is similar to Krishna. So she said, I'm sitting in this class, this Hari Katha, to honor Hari Katha because that's an honor to Krishna. That's a respect to Krishna, no matter who's speaking. Young or senior or junior, doesn't matter. And then further she said, this brahmachari is not speaking Hari Katha. He's only repeating the words of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. If anyone's reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, who's speaking Hari Katha there? Krishnadas Kaviraj. This brahmachari is only repeating. He's only like a news reader. News reader is not making his own news. He's just reading or she's just reading. So I'm hearing what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is speaking, I'm hearing what Bhakti Thakur is speaking, I'm hearing what Prabhupada is speaking, and I'm hearing what Gurudev is speaking. That means this shows not only regard and respect to Hari Katha, but on the top of that, regard and respect to those acharyas who wrote those songs and those Hari Katha. And she was so much into the mood of Gurudev. 100%. Staunch faith in the words of Gurudev, performing Navdeep Parikrama and Brajmandal Parikrama. We have seen this. All Maharaj knows this. She can't walk. She was not able to walk. But still, so much enthusiasm in going all these places of pastime to hear Hari Katha. First one to arrive there. Even this last Kartik, Hemant Prabhu was there, we were together in car. So couple of times we see Uma Didi there. And she always used to be before all the buses comes because she can't handle those big crowds. And whoever is there, she's speaking Hari Katha. The importance of that place. Understand? It happened many times. This last year and other years prior to that. She's always there before because of her old age, and the big crowd comes, like 1,000 people come, and she can't have darshan of the deities there. And then she always used to have some ladies around her or some other people who go before the main party So when she is looking around, there is no one to speak, then she starts speaking. Shravanti Gayanti Grananta Sadhava. Then she starts explaining, oh, we are here, this is Braj Mandal, this is Baldev Prabhu, because one time it happened 2 years back, and Dauji, Baldev Prabhu Darshan. I was just standing behind a tree and hearing what Uma Didi is speaking. I also arrived earlier there, before the buses. So she's saying, oh, now we are here in Brajamandal. Gurudev used to bring us here, and the Baldev Prabhu, the glories of Baldev Prabhu, and somebody told Uma Didi, Siddhanti Maharaj is here. And she, where is he? Where is he? And I was hiding behind a tree. And she said, I can't see him, but if you are hearing me, please come forward. We all want to hear from you. But I intentionally didn't want to come because I want to hear from her. Because she heard from Gurudev so many years. But then everyone was just kind of like pulling, come, and then I have to come there. She stopped speaking. The point I'm making here is so humble and tolerant. She stopped speaking and she said, please, can you tell? And I said, no, Didi, you're explaining so nicely. She said, no, I'm not a good speaker. You sannyasis, you know better than me. Always giving regard and respect to others. I would have not done this. If I am of her status, I would have not done this very honestly. There's always some, arrogance. Oh, I'm disciple of, I'm so many years in mud. But she always giving respect to all brahmacharis, never showing off. Even in some programs, I was here, Didi was sitting next to me here. She said, Mara, you speak, because I don't know how to speak Harikatha. Don't trust her words. That was just to encourage others and maintaining that mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, not expecting any honor and giving respect to others. She was like this. So full of all good qualities, full of all qualities of Vaishnavas. कौन सी क्वालिटी वैष्णव का? कृपालु, आकृद्र, तितिक्षु सर्वदेही नाम, अजार शत्रु शांता साधु सर्वभूषणम. Titikshu Karunika, Surit Sarvadehi now. Very tolerant. As Hemant Prabhu was describing this, and it's true, we are witness. Shravan is witness. We were together in what? There were no facilities in the temple. Very, very humble. You all can't stay there. Very straight and telling. Can't stay in that difficult time. In winters, there's no heaters. And like you have in America here, centralized heating system. India's inside outside is same. If 25 degrees outside, inside is also 25 degrees. No matter how many clothes you wear, there is no heaters. Of course, there are some these kind of heaters, but that's not available. It was not being provided. Because of many factors. So one has to be very strong staying in a temple. In summers, no air conditioning. And on the top of that, there's no sweet water to drink. It's all salty water. We used to go almost every day, 1.5 or 2 miles to get sweet water to drink. Drinkable water. What to speak of sweet water? Drinkable water. 2 miles walking with 2 canes in our hand. 2 gallons and 2 gallons like this. Walking and bringing back. 4 miles walk just to get sweet water, drinkable water. Very austere. Very, very austere to live in temple. Especially in those days, year 2000. No hot water in cold for shower. Now it's so easy, we just go anywhere and hot water shower. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, doesn't matter. But in temple, staying in the mud, no hot water. cold shower. And that made everything so strong built. Along with all brahmacharis, Didi also. And because she motherly figure, she was given a private room. But brahmacharis, we always used to stay 4 or 5 together in one room. He was staying in the room, I know, there was like 8 brahmacharis, 10. All lying here and there. And it needs so much tolerance. But the tolerance of Shri Uma Didi, because as I said, one lady with 70 brahmacharis. And brahmacharis, they used to loving quarrel with her, loving fights with her. And she is very tolerant and giving gifts to them. All motherly affection. So one can think only hearing and chanting is everything. If Gurudev gives some order or some instruction, do some service. No, Gurudev, the best is chanting, because it's so lazy to say, no, I can't do anything. I mind doing chanting. That's so simple. You just sit anywhere, you can chant. But in spite of the fact, hearing and chanting, she was also, what she was doing? Cleaning deities' utensils every single day. In that cold water, I've seen that. Scrubbing. She used to sit in the kitchen and wash all the pots. Every single day. Morning and evening. This is called service mood. Why we are honoring Uma Didi? Why Vaishnavas around the world, they are speaking so much about her? Because we also want to develop this kind of good qualities. Always thinking the mood of service. Always. This will be pleasing to my Gurudev, this will be pleasing to my Vaishnavas, this is pleasing to Krishna. Even buying vegetables, as Mansi Didi was saying. She just took one eggplant in the store and she said, oh, Krishna, we like this. And we think when we purchase something, oh, this is for me. Try to understand. Because now we become devotees and we want to progress on this path. We want to progress. And progression comes when we perceive and we see everything. If this is appropriate for Krishna, to relish this. If Krishna will like this or not like this. Anukulasya sankalpam, pratikulasya vivarjanam. That's why we are worshipping her in form of hearing her qualities. And we pray to her. Definitely she is with Krishna. And join Gurudev somewhere in the service. So please, from that abode, wherever you are, please approach for us, pray for us. We also want to attain the same destination. And we also pray, I humbly pray, no matter where I am moving around, but I want my last breath in Vrindavan, the bank of Jamuna. इतना तो करना स्वामी जब प्राण तन से निकले, जमुना जी का तट हो, वंशी वट हो और सांवरा निकट हो, है ना भजन? प्राण तो निकलेंगे लेकिन अच्छे निकले ना. One day we all have to leave and die. But last breath in Vrindavan on the bank of Jamuna, surrounded by devotees and hearing the names of Krishna. That's my desire. Let's see if I get blessed by Guru and Krishna.
I'm not capable, very sinful person, but if Krishna happy with my services, then may I get this kind of also very, what you call, prestigious living this world. So much honor and prestigious living this world in the middle of the Vaishnavas. Gauru Premanande Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa